yesterday's show, Ali, Stevie played down the fact that Sadio Mane has moved on and Liverpool's form has dipped. Is that fair?
Yeah, because I don't think this is reflective upon the absence of Sadio Mane, much more so than it is the fact that you just see no aggression from Liverpool. And that's a surprising part, that you didn't see a punch nor a counter punch from Liverpool. That even if they had been surprised by the intensity and the energy with which Manchester United were playing, there was nothing from Liverpool to counteract that. There was no reaction to that. And to me, when I think of Virgil van Dijk, and you just mentioned that perhaps he kind of gives the full picture as to what Liverpool has been early on in the season, when James Milner is getting on his face and telling him how to play the game, what to do, and step to the guy, you see that there is no reaction from Virgil van Dijk. If I'm a player, right, and this is an intense game, and I know I'm having some difficulties, but I'm fully focused and concentrated on my job, and I got somebody, my teammate, getting on my face about how to do my job, I am pushing him out of the way, right? I am getting him out of the way and saying, no, you do your job, let me worry about what I'm doing here. But it was almost very kind of accepting of him that, yeah, I'm not doing all that great, okay, all right, let's move on. And that is not the attitude of Liverpool, and it shouldn't be, and we should not accept it, because Liverpool has set a different standard for themselves, to where this is a team that you expect, at the very least, that they're going to be the aggressor, that they're going to be on the front foot, that they're going to show energy and intensity, and they didn't do any of that against Manchester United. And if you're not doing it against Manchester United, who are you going to do it against? That's the part that would be concerning. You can lose a game, but it's the manner in which they lost it that I think is unacceptable.
It can't just be a coincidence, though, Maka, can it? 3 games into the season, 3 games without Mane, 3 games without the win.
I think Liverpool are weaker without Mane, Dan, to be very honest, because I think he is the finished article as a player, but you fully expect that. Darwin Núñez will not replace Sadio Mane. They're 2 different players. Sadio Mane is a better player than Darwin Núñez at this moment in time. They bought Darwin Núñez because other people were interested. He's 22 years of age, and he's a work in progress. They're hoping that in a couple of years they can get to the level where Sadio Mane was. But Liverpool are weaker without Sadio Mane. I think that goes without saying. But they're hoping that with Darwin Núñez and with the improvement of Darwin Núñez and the people that they brought in, they may get to that level. But I don't think you can necessarily blame the 3 performances just because Sadio Mane is not there, because the problems are all over the field. They're not just in one area or the central forward area. They're all over the place, in midfield and in the centre back and in the full back positions.
What we're concerning, Maka, is like, right, okay, after the opening game, you would think, right, Klopp's got a week with them, kick them up the backside, get them back into the sort of team that we expect Liverpool to be. Didn't happen. Didn't happen after the Palace game. And obviously didn't happen then again for the Manchester United game. So how easy is this for Klopp and his team to fix?
Well, I think it'll be fairly easy, to be very honest, Dan. They've had a lot of criticism after the United game. Fortunately for Liverpool, or unfortunately, whatever you want to say, they've got Bournemouth on Saturday. So at Anfield, and that's a game actually that you probably want at the moment, because Bournemouth are not flying well as well, are they? But I thought Liverpool played okay against Crystal Palace. I thought the tempo was there, the aggression was there, their attitude was good. It's just that Darwin Núñez got sent off, which is a big problem in itself. So I think they've got games against Bournemouth at home. They've got a tricky one at Newcastle at home, a resurgent Newcastle. Then they've got, of course, the Liverpool derby away at Everton, who was struggling. They need the 9 points out of that, and everything will be forgotten. But I think a lot of the players, individually and collectively, have had a big kick up the backside this morning off everybody around the country, because everybody has found it a huge shock that Liverpool, after being so dominant against Manchester United last year, and the 11 that started yesterday actually done a job on them. And that's a big thing for Liverpool this morning.
Frank, just going back to Van Dijk finally, how do you fix him?
Well, it's really up to him. You know, you have to challenge yourself. You have to realize that it's not enough. And you have to make sure that even if you have a talent, even if you're gifted, you need this and the heart. You know, and unless you don't realize that your head and your heart will do the difference, especially when you work and you play for Liverpool, which is, again, what I said before, part of the genes of the club, when you have to give everything like you're about to die, you know, and it's what we loved about that last decades of Liverpool. you have to give 100%. You have to make sure that you did give 100%, and then you will get back to or close to the best that you've been. And for Van Dijk, that would be what you have to, because you're a defender. You have to react, you have to lead, you have to show the example to new players as well. And he's the leader. He is the leader of the defense, so he has to deal with that and make sure that he comes back to basics, in fact, and the basics of a defender is to give everything to help the team to win.
What struck you, Shaq, from this Liverpool performance?
Well, first of all, the first thing that struck me is how poor they were against Manchester United, and I can't believe that Liverpool somehow lacked motivation going into a game against Manchester United. Though they dominated possession, they really lacked pace and any real cutting edge. To your question about Sadio Mane and his omission, more times than not, when Liverpool were at their best, he would come in off that left-hand side, which is where Luis Diaz is. And Firmino simply hasn't been anything like the player we've known for the last couple of seasons. That is a big issue for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. A lot of the other departments, I don't think are that different. Liverpool have never gotten a lot of goals from midfield. It's always been about that front three, but they've always been fairly secure at the back. Virgil van Dijk has never been the type of defender that's thrown himself into challenges or blocks. His strength is reading and anticipating and getting there. And maybe because of the injury, he's just at half a yard short. But now that he's a little more human, shall we call it, he has to do those things that other defenders do. And to Ali's point with the argument with Milner, and the way that Milner approached him and Van Dijk's response almost said to me that this is a discussion that they had before.
Right.
That this is something that they identified in Van Dijk, and they needed him to do it. And when the opportunity presented itself, he didn't, which is why Milner was as irate as he was, and which is why Van Dijk didn't push back in that manner.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.